So Jump Festa 2020 has officially ended for this year. The festival that announces a lot of different things for the various shonen manga and anime from Shonen Jump's different magazines. And yeah, I'll be honest with you, this year's announcements, for the most part, not all, but for the most part, definitely felt lackluster and a bit disappointing. This year's Jump Festa really wasn't like the previous years. I mean, I go back to a lot of different times where it was just like, yo, we got big announcements left and right. And yeah, not only with Dragon Ball Super, there was a lot of different things that went down that I was like, oh, okay, let's talk about it. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. So that's right, people, Jump Festa 2020 has officially wrapped up. All the stages showed everything that they had to offer, everything that they were going to announce for the coming year, and Dragon Ball Super is one of the stages that definitely wrapped up, and we'll talk about that in a bit, because a lot went down at this, but at the same time, not that much. Because while we had quite a bit of announcements and stuff like that, some of which, again, there's fandoms that are really, really excited for it. So, you know, awesome stuff, and we'll talk about all of it. But for the most part, it didn't really feel like it was one of those big events that really announced huge things. Like, you know, a couple years ago, a year or two ago, we get announcements like, you know, the Broly movie is coming, Dragon Ball Super is making a new movie. Or, you know, I even go back further, years ago when Masashi Kishimoto, creator of Naruto, was getting on the stage and talking about Madara Uchiha and how hacks he is and how he's racking his brain on how to defeat him, and, you know, giving us really cool tidbits about the future of the manga and stuff like that. With this one in particular, while there were some really interesting and notable announcements, a lot of it felt like they were rehashing information that has just been previously released in, you know, Shonen Jump's magazine, and a lot of stuff that kind of we already knew for the most part. It felt more like a showcase than an announcement type of deal, which normally there's like big announcements like, you know, new movies, this and that. And this one just kind of told us a lot of what we knew and then some kind of small surprises. So for starters, one of the announcements we got is World Trigger is getting another season of the anime. I think this would technically be the second or third anime that it's gotten at this particular point. In case you don't know about World Trigger, it was a series that was serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump. It had a pretty significant popularity, and the mangaka actually got real sick, and I think he broke his wrist and had to take a hiatus, and then they moved it eventually to a monthly serialization. But that got a new anime, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's Toei, so same company that does, you know, Dragon Ball, One Piece, whatnot. They are going to be doing World Trigger again, so for World Trigger fans, that's dope. Personally, I never got into World Trigger. I never really gave the manga a shake, and I only saw like episode 1 of the anime, and it didn't really impress me at all, so I never got into it. Not saying that the series is bad, I just never really gave it a fair shake, and I never really heard anything that really drew me to say like, oh man, I gotta check out World Trigger. Again, maybe it's awesome, but that didn't really excite me all that much, especially considering we're going into this Jump Festa like, okay, you know, whatever Toei announces, hopefully it's something Dragon Ball related or even One Piece related, something along the lines of that. So here in World Trigger, I'm happy for the fandom. A little bit like, okay, whatever, what else do you got? Then we get an announcement that we're getting a Dragon Quest anime, which I am gonna lie, I'm a little bit excited. I'm not sure, I want to say it's Toei, but don't quote me on that. I didn't really look deep into it. I just saw a little bit of the trailer and it looked pretty hype, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm wondering if Jump Force's popularity didn't help to kind of push forth this getting an anime, because, you know, of course, Jump Force is very successful and Dragon Quest has some characters in there, but we're getting a Dragon Quest anime, which, again, that's kind of cool. I'm low-key excited. I've never been a Dragon Quest anime fan, so maybe this could be dope, maybe this could be hype, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a shot, but again, nothing really that is making me jump out of my boots like, oh my god, Dragon Quest, like, you know, that's just not up my alley. Again, for the fans that love Dragon Quest, kudos to you, but that wasn't really anything, you know, that exciting for me. We also got an announcement for another Yu Yu Hakusho mobile game, which I love Yu Yu Hakusho, but I never played any of the other ones because I don't think any of them got localized over here in the West to begin with. So Yu Yu Hakusho, new mobile game, could be cool, but it looks more like it's a gacha type of game, and I play a lot, and I played a lot of gacha games in the past, so not really, like, I'm still stuck on Bleach Brave Souls, that's my thing. So yeah, I'm not really that excited about that either. A couple other notable things is they announced another Yu-Gi-Oh anime, which it seems like Yu-Gi-Oh is the way of Pokemon. It's never gonna end, or at the very least, it still has such a long life ahead. From my understanding, the fandom, especially with the TCG, is still going very, very strong. So they announced another Yu-Gi-Oh Yu-Gi-Oh anime, which I want to say it's going to be the follow-up to V-Reigns. Is that how you pronounce it? The latest Yu-Gi-Oh anime, which I don't know what number of Yu-Gi-Oh anime this makes it, but yeah, more Yu-Gi-Oh anime to come. How do I feel about that? Personally, I don't feel anyway, because I've long since tuned out of really caring about the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Of course, I love the original, favorite of all time. I really enjoyed GX. Never cared for 5Ds. I thought Xiao or Zexel, however you pronounce it, I thought that would look cool. I gave it like an episode or two, but I heard that was really, really bad. And besides that, yeah, I've tuned out of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime for a long time. It's not like Pokemon, where with Pokemon, at the very least, I'll give the first episode or two of every new anime a chance. With Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm just kind of like, can we get more of Yugi and Joey in them? Just saying, like that last movie they did was pretty freaking exciting. So yeah, new Yu-Gi-Oh anime for those that are excited for that. They also announced, which I want to say that it was already confirmed, but I think they gave more details on a new Gintama film that will be coming out. I don't think it's coming out this year. I could be wrong, but they just said, hey, another Gintama film, which that's awesome, because the Gintama, the films, I love me some Gintama movies. The Forever Yorozuya is honestly one of my favorite anime films of all time, not just like shonen or anything. Like, I loved the Gintama Forever Yorozuya film. It was amazing. So them doing another Gintama film, especially considering Gintama is no longer in Weekly Shonen Jump, you know, I'm kind of missing that vibe. I used to love, even if I wasn't caught up on the Gintama manga, I used to have a friend that read it, and every few months I would be like, yo, get me up to speed on what's going on with Gintoki and them. And of course, you know, I checked out the films, and every once in a while I peek in on the anime, see what's going on. So them doing a new film, that's good for the Gintama fandom. They deserve it, and I wouldn't mind seeing it. So kind of a cool announcement. But again, as you guys can see, for the most part, nothing really jumping out for me, and I know a lot of people kind of have similar tastes as me. There's nothing really there so far that's kind of made me like, yeah. Of course, we got some announcements with Boruto. Again, it was kind of rehashed information, which it feels rehashed, but technically the news that we got regarding the Mujina Bandits arc continuing, we wasn't supposed to get until Monday anyway, so it's supposed to be like that was supposed to come out first, I guess, technically, and then we would hear about it in the magazine on Monday. So kind of spoiled that. I think the biggest thing we got out of the Boruto whole announcements and whatnot is the authors talking about that we're going to get Kawaki and Kara moving forward into 2020 with the anime. That was probably the biggest thing, and more info on the Mujina Bandits arc of what, you know, the changes that they're going to be making for that. So the Boruto announcements, it was light. It was big in a sense of like, yes, we're finally going to get canonical stuff to the anime, but nothing really for like the manga's future. And it was just kind of like, oh, if it wasn't for Ukyo Kodachi and Ikamoto, it really wouldn't have been that big, considering we just found out about Mujina Bandits and Shonen Jump's release. Aside from that, Jujutsu Kaisen, a lot of misinformation on that. With Jujutsu Kaisen, if they play their hands right, this is going to be very big. I've never seen that. This is a Shonen Jump series that still has no anime to date, and the fandom in the West is ridiculous. Like, I put out a poll for this week's chapters of manga and said, hey, what had the best chapter? And so many replies were Jujutsu Kaisen, motherfucker. But we had some announcements, which if you follow my Twitter, I eventually had to recant some of it, where people were saying like, oh, it's getting animated by the same studio as Dr. Stone and Megalobox. But according to the latest release of information, the only thing that stands true right now as far as the Jujutsu Kaisen anime that has been officially confirmed is that Jujutsu Kaisen's character Gojo, his voice actor has been revealed, and I want to say one of the directors has also been revealed, and I want to say even the character designer. I think those are the only things that have been 100% confirmed. But as far as the studio, and there was also an announcement floating around about Amazon getting Jujutsu Kaisen. To be honest with you, I don't want Amazon in a way to get Jujutsu Kaisen, just because even though Amazon has been on a roll with releasing some great stuff, I've noticed that usually when Amazon gets a series, it really doesn't blow up and really doesn't get that popular. I think anime going to Amazon or even Netflix is usually to its detriment. I mean, look at the Seven Deadly Sins. To this day, I still think it would have been bigger than like My Hero and all the other stuff, but Netflix kind of ruined that because they don't really promote their anime the way it should be. So Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm really hoping that 100% the Amazon rumors are off, just because like I would like to see it get its just dues and see it get a season 2 and 3 and so on and so forth. And that usually, especially with the support from the West, it ain't gonna really happen with it going to Amazon. I mean, look at stuff like we got Blade of the Immortal. Nobody's talking about that. Vinland Saga, arguably one of the greatest anime of 2019, probably the greatest. We'll get into that in another video, but also just like a classic waiting to happen, and not that many people are talking about it like they should anyway. I feel as though so that should have the same popularity as Demon Slayer. That's how damn good Vinland Saga is. But it's an Amazon thing, so not only are people really not finding out about it, the people that are watching it are just keeping it at 100, torrenting it, they're pirating it. So if it goes to Amazon, it'd be a shame. But as it stands right now, there's no confirmed studio still for the Jujutsu Kaisen anime, no release date still for the Jujutsu Kaisen anime. We just know that it's coming, and we know who's Gojo's voice actor, and I think again like a director or a character designer. So that's where it stands with Jujutsu Kaisen. And then lastly, from the things that I wanted to talk about, which there was a plethora of other stuff. Promised Neverland had a stage. There was a bunch of other stuff, but Shokugeki no Soma season 5, Dragon Ball Super. Very disappointing stage, especially considering the hype leading up to it, where Horikawa, the voice actor for Vegeta, saying things like, yo, I'm going to the booth for something toy related, and all of this jazz that was kind of leading up until Jump Festa. A lot of us assumed, okay, there's going to be an announcement regarding the next Dragon Ball Super film, or the return of the anime, or something along the lines of that. And the only thing no, as a matter of fact, not the only thing, let's just break it down. No anime news of a return, no film news of the next film that's supposed to come. Nothing. No, like, manga, like, hey, this is the next arc. Nothing like that. We literally just got, I want to say that Dragon Ball Heroes is getting another season or something like that. Like, they're doing Dragon Ball Heroes 2 or something, which I do not care about Dragon Ball Heroes at all. It's fan service, and I got bored of it because it's just straight up taking out the other stuff that I love about Dragon Ball, like, you know, the characters, characterization, development, and just putting fighting. And fighting is cool, but if there's nothing behind fighting, I usually don't care. So, yeah. Very big bust. Honestly, I would say that this is one of the most disappointing Jump Festas in a long time. There was some cool stuff there, like I said, for World Trigger fans, for Dragon Quest fans, the little tidbits from the Boruto announcement, things of that nature. But it felt like, again, they were doing more so of a showcase of like, hey, you already know about this, so we're gonna just tell you a little more about it, but not really. Opposed to like, yo, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. They didn't even really have like, normally they would have like, you know, and Masashi Kishimoto obviously is doing Samurai 8, so they really can't bother him too much, but they didn't even have like the creators of the series coming up on stage or anything like that. Like, I don't know what they were thinking this year with Jump Festa. Maybe they just want to save a lot of this information for future magazine releases or something, but definitely they dropped the ball with making it an impactful one. This year's Jump Festa, not that grandiose like I thought it'd be. Curious what you guys think about this though. Out of all the announcements we did get, you know, new Yu-Gi-Oh anime, World Trigger returning, Dragon Quest, Yu Yu Hakusho Mobile. Again, there's tons of stuff that I didn't even talk about in this video. What did you think? Were you disappointed? How do you feel? No new Dragon Ball news, no Dragon Ball Super return for the anime, the movie, nothing like that. Your overall thoughts and expectations for the future. I mean, at the very least, I can say that from the stuff that we already know before Jump Fest or anything, 2020 is still looking bright for anime and manga. It's just like, damn, yo, this could have been a big stage to, you know, announce a lot of really cool things in the future, and it seems like they're just being very tight-lipped about it. So that's for this one though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links of course as always in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always people, have an awesome day, and remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life. Bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in.
Enjoy the next ride, but I was the best ride. But I